We'll begin by looking at the options menu within Vertex BD. On the top bar here, go to the options icon. It's this little wavy line in yellow. We'll go through the list. First you have create new option. This is to create an option based off of already drawn geometry. We'll see an example of that in the elevations creation video. Copy an option. Here is how you would copy already created options if you want multiple choices, such as in an elevation. So if you have elevation A, you want to copy that and create elevation B and then adjust the geometry within elevation B. Edit option components. Here is where you would actually edit geometry into an option. So if you drew a dimension line, or you added an electrical component or a note or an additional wall, and you want that to be associated with a created geometry, you would edit or select that geometry and associate it to the existing option. Edit option data. This is where you'd actually change properties associated with a piece of geometry. So if you select a piece of geometry, you can change what happens to that geometry based off a list of options. We're going to skip parameter options. We really don't use this very much, and we won't go over that in this course. Delete option. If you just decide you don't want an option, you've copied elevation A to create B, it's not working out the way you like and you want to start over, delete the option. Option insert mode for components. We're going to skip over that one. We're going to skip over delete option connections for now. Set up option heights. We're not going to do that one in this course. Set up macro library swapping options. We're not going to use that in this course. Edit option box size. This is how you would actually change the box reference for an option just to clean it up and make it look more uniform and organized on the drawing model pair. Move origin in option box. The origin is what geometry snaps back to when you activate it on the option or on the model or back to the option box. Here you just select and move the origin so you could line things up in a certain way. This is used when stacking options from drawing model pair to drawing model pair. Activate an option. This is what you'd use to test a single option. So if you want to test elevation A or B on drawing model pair first floor, you would just select this, click on the option, and activate it. This is a one-off activate option. Test options. Here is where you would test a full option. You want to see elevation A and how it looks on the building, on the full model, for all drawing model pairs. And you can click there, select elevation A, B, C, whatever elevation choices. You can select multiple option choices, so you could do elevation B with a third car garage and test the whole option list. Solve options is similar to test options, but what it does is it gives you a final solved building. So it deletes or restrains all other option pieces. So if you solve for elevation B with a third car garage and reverse building, you will literally get that model. All other geometry will be not shown. Restore option model. After you've solved for an option, you get the tested option, you see how everything looks, but you want to go back to the actual options model to continue working. This takes you back to your option model. Create and solve job. This is the same as solve option. However, it creates a finalized option model, meaning that you cannot go back to your option model. It solves it, gives you the final job, and all other option data will be lost, is gone. It also creates a new file. So your default option model would be saved as another file. Freeze option model. When you save an option or solve an option model and you decide this is what I want, this is how I'm going to build this house, this is what we're going to do, you can freeze the option model and it eliminates all the other geometry in the option, and you can no longer restore back to the option model. So you don't want to use this unless you've created a copy. Optional integrity, we're not going to go through these in this course. Stretch option, we're not going to use that in this course. Locating, we're not going to use that. We're not going to use the BOM master sets or the button menu. We are, however, going to talk briefly about advanced options, mainly the allowed options for project and allowed options. The difference being in the master allowed options, this is what you would allow for all projects within your organization. We'll briefly talk about that because we really don't use it too much. The allowed options for project, these are the options that you would create for each specific model, each project. The only other one in this list is define mirroring line. This would be your reverse building, left, right, garage, and how you'd set it up. That's pretty much all the menu that we're going to review for this course. This is the intro to optioning, so everything else would be more advanced features.